After the wedding, the forest did not suddenly become gentle. Peace on the frontier never arrived all at once. It crept in, cautious and quiet, like an animal unsure whether the hand reaching toward it meant kindness or a trap. The first nights, after the ceremony, were the hardest. Annabelle slept, but not deeply. Even now, in safety, her body remembered danger better than comfort. Sometimes she woke before dawn, breath tight, eyes wide, listening for footsteps that were no longer there. Other nights she lay still, staring at the ceiling beams, counting the spaces between them, reminding herself that this roof would not collapse. Silas never asked, but he always knew. When she woke from dreams, he did not speak. He simply placed more wood on the fire so the room would grow warmer. He made coffee stronger than usual. He moved quietly so the sounds of the cabin would be steady, predictable, safe. One morning, before the sun had climbed above the ridge, Annabelle found him outside splitting wood. The rhythm of the axe was calm, deliberate. Each strike landed with the certainty of a heartbeat. She stood watching for a long time. "You do not have to do all of this alone," she finally said. He did. "Not stop swinging. I've done it alone for years. Habits hard to break." She stepped closer. "Then break it." The axe stopped mid-air. He looked at her, surprised. She reached for the next log and set it upright. Silas studied her for a moment, then handed her the smaller hatchet. "Start with that," he said. Less weight. The first strike was awkward, the second better. By the fifth, the wood split clean. They worked side by side, and something new formed between them. Not rescue, not gratitude, but partnership. Weeks passed. Spring deepened. Wildflowers spread through the clearing, bright against the dark earth. The river grew louder as the snowmelt came down from the mountains. The world, once frozen, seemed determined to move again. Annabelle began walking farther from the cabin. At first only to the edge of the clearing, then down the trail, then all the way to the ridge overlooking the valley. One afternoon she returned carrying a bundle of herbs. "For tea," she said simply. Silas tasted it that night. "It's terrible," he told her. She stared at him. Then he added, "But it makes my chest feel warm." She laughed fully this time, not hidden, not fragile. The sound startled them both, but peace has a way of attracting ghosts. Late one evening, as storm clouds gathered over the hills, Silas noticed tracks near the tree line. Not deer, not timber. Men, horse tracks. Fresh. He said nothing at first. Instead, he watched. For 2 days, nothing happened. On the third, a rider appeared on the distant road. Not Cutter. Someone else. A woman. She rode hard, as if distance itself was chasing her. When she reached the clearing, she nearly fell from the saddle. Annabelle caught her. The woman's face was bruised, lips split, eyes wild with fear. "My name is Eliza," she gasped. "They're coming." "Who?" Silas asked. "Men who buy women," she said. "The same ones who sold you." Silence fell like a stone. Annabelle's hands tightened. "How did you find me?" she asked. Eliza swallowed. "Word travels, stories too. They say a woman with a scar escaped. They say she lives free in the hills. Other girls heard. Some ran. But the men, they want you back, to make an example." Silas's jaw hardened. He asked, "Soon?" That night, the fire burned low as they spoke in quiet voices. "We can leave," Silas said. "Head north. Deeper into the mountains." Annabelle shook her head. "No." He looked at her. "I ran my whole life," she continued. "If I run again, they win again." "You do not have to fight," he said. She met his gaze. "But I choose to." The same words she had spoken about the sack. Choice. Silas nodded slowly. "Then we make a stand." Over the next days, the cabin changed. Traps were set along the trails. Hidden lines, sharpened stakes, silent alarms made from tin and bone. Silas taught Annabelle to shoot. At first her hands trembled. Later they steadied. Eliza learned to. At night they sat together, planning. But there were also softer moments. Annabelle sewing by lantern light. Silas carving small wooden birds. Eliza sleeping for the first time without fear. A fragile family. The men arrived at dawn. 5 riders, cold eyes, hard mouths. The leader dismounted first. "Well now," he called. "There you are." Annabelle stepped forward before Silas could. "I am not yours," she said. He smiled. "You always were." The first trap snapped. A hoarse scream. Chaos broke. Gunfire echoed through the trees. Silas moved like the forest itself, quiet, deadly certain. Eliza fired from the window. Annabelle stood her ground. When the smoke cleared, the leader lay wounded. Stared up at her. "You think this changes anything?" he whispered. Annabelle looked down at him, calm. "It already has." She lowered the gun. Not in mercy, but in finality. Afterward, the silence returned. Different this time. Urn. They buried the dead far from the cabin. Not out of respect, but to keep the land clean. Eliza stayed. Others came too in the months that followed. Women, girls, survivors. The clearing became more than a home. It became a refuge. Silas built more cabins. Annabelle taught healing and survival. Eliza guarded the road. Word spread, not of fear, but of hope. Years later, travelers would pass through the ridge and speak of a place hidden among the pines. A place where women who had been broken found strength again, and at the heart of it stood a lumberjack and a woman with a scar. They grew older. The forest changed, but every evening, no matter how many sat at their table, Silas still set 2 bowls. First. One for the woman who saved him, and one for the woman who chose him, because in the Wild West, love was not soft. It was forged, and sometimes the strongest thing a person could do was choose to stay.